Hello, welcome to a brand new stream that we're going to call Delta. I think that's a good way to pronounce it. I'm Luke, the GM. Today with me, I have got Jared.
Hey, I'm Jared. Gonna be playing a character called Ignatius.
We've also got Z Warrior.
Hi there, I'm Zwater. I'll be playing a kind of detective investigator character, and I hope he will be interesting to watch.
We've also got Hattie.
Hello, I'm Hattie and I will be playing as a dragon who pretends to be a German professor with PhD in history. And I hope it will be retarded enough for you guys to enjoy it.
Great introduction. Great. Spot on. We've also got Casper.
Hello, my character's name is Casper Sebastian Bishop, and I am playing a nasty little spy.
Right out.
It'll
with
be
it.
fun to see. See what happens.
And finally, last but not least, I don't want to say this wrong, so welcome the Wiggle Sword.
Praise be unto the Wiggles. And I'm still finalizing my hello there. I'm still finalizing some of my character details, but let's just say the doctor is in and he's ready to take a blood sample.
Perfect. This is hardly going to be a proper session. This is session 0. We're going to talk about everything. Make sure that when we start this campaign, we all have a lot of fun. But yeah, don't feel pressured to do anything. Let's get right into it. So, planning on starting in 1851. Big question. How many of you know each other already?
Not at all.
I'm totally up for letting that be totally random. If anyone wants to know me, they absolutely can.
I mean, we have another, like, the historian in the party, so I assume at least we can know each other, at least, as a professionals or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like, the whole supernatural part of the characters, we can probably don't know about that. That probably will be more fun when it's, holy shit, you are a dragon, and you can transform into the rock monster.
Okay, so you...
Oh, you meant how many of our characters know each other?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe
maybe
I
a good way
might
to
know.
start with
I
that.
might know one of your characters in passing, but I haven't quite decided yet. I have to talk. I think I might know Hattie's character in passing, but I don't think we've actually had a conversation quite yet.
Oh,
I think a good way to get around to that is to actually discuss our characters' backstories first, so we know who these other people are and whether we could know them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sounds good.
Go right ahead, Jared.
Okay, my character, Ignatius, because this character doesn't like it when people butcher his actual name, so he just goes by the Latinized English butchering of the Latinized form. Is an amateur archaeologist from Switzerland. He found some stuff when he discovered the city of Akkad, and now he's also a rock monster. Only part-time.
Part-time rock monster.
He's mostly stayed in Switzerland until recently, and there might be overarching plot stuff that has rendered him in London.
So when you say rock monster, do you mean like the thing from the Fantastic Four?
No. He becomes this floating, ambery, glowy, rocky thing that
It's like a Geodude from
channels
Pokemon or
the
something.
power of the Akkadian gods.
Okay.
It's
He
rock
just looks
monster.
kind of rocky when he's like that.
Stony faced for sure.
There. If you look at Roll20, you can see.
Oh, aye.
Alright.
This might not be visible to all players yet. I might have just shown you the wrong player as well.
Yeah, that's me. Hi.
I think I only showed that to you also, though.
I don't know if I'm part of the game on Roll20.
Oh, you might not be yet. I sent you a link a while ago, but it could well have expired.
Oh.
I see a
Maybe.
picture of your human form. I don't see a picture of your rocky form.
Rocky form. It's just very similar.
There she blows.
Let's see if I can find the Roll20. Oh, I joined it. I
Oh,
don't know
nice.
why it's not. I don't know why it's not pulling up.
I wonder if you. Oh my god, you did it. You actually put it in.
That's what she said.
Oh no.
You walked right into that one. You have to admit it.
What actually happened?
I have enough with my D&D players.
Yeah, so we've got the archaeologist, part-time rock monster. I suppose that'd lead us into the other historian. They've most likely at least read something that one another's written before.
I mean, he is like an archaeologist. My character is more like an academic historian. He like has PhD in history. He has a professor status in the University of München. But that's not because he like good at researching stuff and stuff like that. That because he is, an unaging 200 plus something years old dragon who just, witnessed most of the European history at some point, just remembered, and that's how he basically got his doctorate, mostly because he got bored.
It's an honorary degree.
Oh no, that's actually a degree I bought with points. Because technically speaking, I have two characters. One of them is Faustinius the Dragon, and the other one is Dr. Johann Faust, the professor of history in the Ludwig Maximilian University in München.
For some reason, you never see them in the same place at the same time.
It's not. I assume, people don't think that dragons are real in this world.
No, that.
Well, you see, the dragon just adopts a slightly higher pitched voice, and he slouches a bit, and people just can't tell that's a dragon.
It's just like that story when everybody just had a shit perception.
It's magic.
But yeah, technically speaking, his alternate form is a human, not a dragon. And if something forces him out of his alternate form, that's gonna be awkward.
Oh yeah, especially on a train or something like that. That could be painful.
Yeah, I don't even know how it's gonna work actually. Like,
so would that squish him, or would he explode the car that he's in?
I'm not sure. There's almost certainly a GURPS rule for this in a book somewhere.
Yeah, that definitely exists.
It depends on his.
I just imagine the
trust
train
level.
car popping like a Pringles can. Or no, like one of those biscuit things in the fridge that you pull open.
One of them's
and it
gonna
pops.
pop. One of them's gonna pop. I prefer the train because blood and guts are just nasty. I mean, yeah, I'd prefer the train.
But the rest of the backstory is to be decided because that we need to figure out what's the thing with dragons in this world.
Well, it's pretty much realistic world history. Realistic
Well,
world history.
certainly not, because we have rock monsters and dragons now, so we need to figure something out about that.
The recorded history
Recorded history.
It's recorded history, not necessarily what actually happened.
All
It
things
actually
are true,
recorded in
but
history.
few things are accurate.
I actually wanted to suggest the idea that, the Vampire the Masquerade,
Yeah, I know
like
that.
they have a
World of
masquerade,
Darkness.
like we pretend they don't exist, like we hide our existence. Maybe the same thing with dragons. Dragon the Masquerade, or something like that. Copyright 2019.
Oh, and then you yourself are publishing articles specifically disputing that dragons ever existed.
I would assume that, the fairy tales and stuff like that was at some point created specifically to make people think that they are not real.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I like that. But Casper, tell us a bit about Your
Well,
god.
I think I think like my guy is at this point human, and I don't really have too many plans to change that. But what he is he is a matter manipulator. Basically, anything within his sphere of influence. Uh,
TBD.
yeah. Basically, whatever his whims are occur. Uh, it's fairly large. It's not horrifically so though. But his original backstory, as I had planned it, was uh, he went through a bit of hard times while kind of coming to grips with what he could do and trying not to be, hunted and killed for being like a witch or
Mm-hmm.
and hunted by the church. So he was on the street for a little bit, ended up uh, kind of peeking and sneaking into a particular meeting of the Illuminati, and they offered him kind of a job and spot there. So that's how he got off the street. And so the original idea was for him to be a member of the Illuminati at this point. However, I didn't have the points to swing rank or anything into the organization. So I don't know whether it could happen in the future. This could, whatever I am doing here at the World's Fair, or
I'm sorry. Are you playing like 100 and 1600 point character?
am I?
I think you're at about
No,
1,000
I
right
can
now.
honestly. It's decently high. It's not 1600 points.
I'm only at 800.
Yeah, that leads us on to Hattie. I think you should be stronger still. I
Yeah.
think you should have more.
Well, I
DR.
was actually planning on, actually learning all the styles of magic because I assume at least in human form gonna be like the magic guy of the party. And yeah, I guess I could buff the dragon form a little bit more. Essentially, since technically speaking, I have like limitation on it, since I cannot always use it
Mm-hmm.
without breaking the masquerade, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will probably just like give me like a limit of points. I'm more comfortable with that way. Like that's like say me like your character is now 1,000 points, and I will work with that. That's gonna be easy for me.
Yeah. I've been trying to do something a bit esoteric with the points in this one.
Yeah, honestly, I would say that it's probably better to give a hard limit on points.
How are other people feeling?
I'm like this is the first time I've worked with a system with the limitations that you've put up, which yeah, I kind of like it because of the way the caps on the skill set on the skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Definitely
just
it seem.
I'm not asking to change the whole rules. I'm just asking you to give specifically me a
Yeah.
point limit because I'm myself more comfortable with
Yeah.
working in hard limits.
Got you.
Yeah, individual limits to scale power.
Because
like,
I am always scared of making my character too OP.
Z Warrior, I don't think feels that pain ever.
No, I completely gave up on that feeling.
Oh, really?
I just embrace it.
Oh, so now it is. My character is a god. Enjoy.
Yep.
Oh well.
Casper, where was your character from?
My character? I'm gonna say my character was born in Bristol.
Ooh.
You just looked at the map and looked for a city that had a name?
No, I happen to have been to Bristol.
Oh, really? What did you think?
Eh. If I had to pick one, if I had to pick a city, and I was sort of thinking about it, Edinburgh.
Very nice city.
I really loved Edinburgh.
Yeah.
It's fucking beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Definitely my
like the one
fave.
time I actually, I've been to London a couple times, but
That's
it
horrible.
just reminded me so much of New York. I was like, I didn't come here to see New York. I came here to see everything else.
I despise London.
I'm not a big fan, I'll be honest. But like the English countryside, I think is absolutely fucking gorgeous.
No thanks to me. But yeah, that leads me on to something else. The general plot theme arch of the adventure.
Wait. Wiggle?
Oh,
I think
Wiggle. No,
Wiggles would
yeah.
describe?
Oh,
Wiggles.
Wiggles!
Wiggles, I'm so sorry.
Wiggles threateningly towards you for next time.
He wiggles towards you.
Okay, so I'm still ironing out some of the more concrete names and details in my background,
Mm-hmm.
but right now what I'm planning is he is very long lived. Oh, by the way, for those of you who aren't aware, he's also going to be a vampire. And no, he does not say blah blah blah.
Good.
Well,
He
that's
just said
boring.
blah blah blah.
Unless you really want me to.
I think that would be a running joke. Hey, he's a vampire. Blah blah blah. You know that shit.
But he's basically going to be a far traveler. He's been here, he's been there, he's picked up a thing or two there.
When you talking long-lived, how long-lived you talking about?
Not quite caveman era.
Oh,
More
wow.
like
That's a long
More
way.
like- not quite that far.
How about Jesus?
I want to say somewhere around the Roman Empire.
That was what, for example, my character is 2,347 years old. That's actually probably around the time of Roman Empire at this point.
Yeah, 2000-ish sounds about right.
Roman.
He's
Funnily
been
enough, the Roman Empire was around for a good long time. That is a pretty big
So
area.
I can be a snob. I saw empires rise and fall, and you talking shit to me.
We
You
could probably
think you're old, kid?
We could probably have a bar conversation about that later. Or, kids these days don't know how good they have it. I remember back when they were crucifying people left and right.
This one guy named Jesus, man. They really went at him.
There will
But
still
yes,
be lots of
But
hangings.
he hasn't actually. He probably hasn't actually lived the entire time. He'll probably live for about 50 or 100 years, hibernate for another 50 till the heat dies down, then come back, see what's changed.
I actually must ask you this thing
Okay.
because you brought it up. Are you actually making a pillar man?
I am basing the template off of the Pillar Men in the sense of they're nigh immortal, barring some very specific things. Very strong, very not quite as tanky as a dragon, but but no slouch either. Not quite Cars the Ascended. Probably, if I take a wild guess, I'd say he's somewhere more along the lines of Savanti. Or
Sandana? Whatever was his name. The one that Strohelm find, right?
yes.
I have not seen
Kind
that
of
season.
around that power level.
I'm getting the feeling this is one of those JoJo things.
It
Yes.
is a JoJo thing. Deal with it.
Okay. No.
He's going to be a mix of that with a little bit of Wolverine and Vandal Savage. And Castlevania Dracula.
Should be exciting.
He's going to be the brains of the operation.
Yeah, I will probably try to challenge that with my
Yeah. I mean, I might not have a PhD.
Well, and eventually, he just decided to become a surgeon just to start helping people.
Helping people lose the blood.
All that extra blood that pops out during the surgery obviously is not a bonus.
Well, being fluent in Latin might help with the surgery.
How many of our characters
How?
are in Latin?
Doctors speak Latin.
I mean, my character know Latin, but only at accented level, though.
So
at least
doctors
three-
know the names of like diseases and crap that are in Latin. I don't think they speak fluent. I mean, speaking fluent Latin is a thing, but like just being a doctor, I don't think they learn Latin as a.
Let's see. For
I'm still ironing
example,
the details out, but that's what I'm kind of leaning towards.
For
More like the skill monkey, where he's picked up a thing or two from wherever he's been.
Ooh, skill monkey.
like
Okay.
The past 500 years, most scientific texts were written in Latin. But I think it were around
Oh, fair
about
enough.
1750, they stopped writing in Latin.
Yeah.
Actually, what that means that I should
So-
probably bump Latin to the native level as well.
Yeah.
You both would probably, for how long you've lived, you should probably both
Because-
know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
probably also
know
now that I've
English,
said Roman
German,
Empire.
Latin, Draconic.
I've got English, French, and German myself.
Yeah, now that I've said Roman Empire, if I keep going there, I might also throw Arabic in there too, because he might have been bit popped in every now and then during the Islamic Golden Age.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that were exciting.
All right.
I think the most exciting kind of theme for the whole campaign that I've thought of was your major suggestions, Jared. I saw it written down somewhere recently.
You have to be specific. I've done a lot of that.
I know where you wrote it down.
Was it about my character's whole? Oh, was it that new backup thing I wrote?
Yes.
I'm just
Okay, yes.
looking at Twitch. Why are we called Cobalt Cafe?
That is a name suggested by someone who GMs one of our
That's so
games.
fucking weird because I was playing Cobalt in the D just today.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
It's because we do other stream stuff too for other
Mhm.
GURPS games.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Okay.
thing you were referring to, Luke, I'd made reference with a different thing to the idea that there is an organization based out of London that is suppressing knowledge of the supernatural.
Not necessarily based out of London, but perhaps that you're all part of an organisation that helps to maintain the secret of magic and hugely powerful people. I'm pretty sure that's what the Illuminati would be doing on the regular.
That
So
Yeah,
mix of
yeah.
Illuminati and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
And probably a
Right.
little bit of the Vatican thrown in there as well.
oh,
like
yeah.
from the Van Helsing.
Well, the Vatican's also, would the Vatican also be hunting the supernatural down, or
There
are
are
they
also
just covering
devils, at least
Yeah.
based on stuff that I decided I'll write this, and Luke can say no if he wants.
it out?
But I kind of already decided Catholic Church is like 50% devils.
I love it.
This is going over my mind. Did we decide that?
I wrote a thing in my character's stuff about how he fought against the devils who were masterminding the Catholic side of the Swiss Civil War a couple of years back.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, there are, in fact, and the Catholic Catholic Church is in maybe a bit of a secret civil war where they're doing all sorts of shady stuff all over the place, suppressing and using, but same for the Illuminati.
Well, technically speaking, Jesus may or may not have been a lich, so you've got that going for you.
Yeah, well, like I said earlier, I mean, I plan for my character to be part of the Illuminati. So do we want to? Yeah, now I can change this if need be.
And
But do we want to do it where some of us are part of one organization, some of us are part of another organization?
I would assume, like, with the whole suppression of the magical thing, is maybe if dragons is like a society in this world, they will probably be on it. Unless they're like a second organization that also oppressing magic and things, but that would be redundant.
It seems like there are multiple organizations that would want to repress the knowledge of the supernatural, mostly for their own gains. Like the Illuminati would do it, the Catholic Church would do it. Whatever cabal that the dragons would create, unless they're part of some of the others, among many other people. There could be countless organizations that are using information to their own degree. Would we like to each be part of separate organizations? And I've done a game like that, and it turned out to be really fun.
Actually,
Ooh, I
you know
see
what?
what you're
If we
going.
actually
I
are
like that.
parts of the different organizations, maybe our party will be some sort of joint operation between them for some sort of extra complicated deal.
Oh,
I do like the sounds of that.
that seems cool. Last time
I'm
I
gonna be
did
more-
something like this was Hunter the Vigil, which is White Wolf in World of Darkness. But none of the characters knew that any of the other characters were part of any organization. They just knew what they had to do. But this actually sounds really cool. I like it.
Like, the only thing that we now need to come up with some sort of a really bad magical thing happening in the world for this sort of stuff to happen.
Well, this
That's what the World
actually
Fair is
that's yeah. I was like, the World Fair is like the perfect meeting point for people of different nationalities and backgrounds to meet up without drawing suspicion.
Uh-huh. We've called it the World Fair. It's the grand exhibition of all
It's great.
nations.
But
Yes.
actually, it was created for this meeting.
Our organization's created the grand, whatever it is, effectively a World's Fair
It is.
to
Yeah.
get us 5 together.
Although, to be fair, if we go in that way, probably each one of us will have to buy a patron advantage, I guess.
I think rank would depending. I guess depending on the organization.
My
would
character
depend
might
on
be
what
more
you
of
buy.
a my character might be more of a wild card, or in the sense of he's aware of the organizations just based on how long he's been around. He probably hasn't had a reason to join any of them quite yet, unless someone gave him a good enough reason. Like, vampires exist. He just happens to be one of the few who is actually integrated
Well,
into human society versus just kind of staying by the wayside.
Important question. Vampires kill people.
yes, I think so.
Vampires were the original reason why people were afraid of the dark. But then eventually,
We might want to
then
discuss the whole
eventually,
morality thing.
humanity started being able to fight back. So a lot of them just went into hiding and became the not quite dominant species. So now they're starting to come back. They're not quite a faction. They mainly just do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So there are no families of vampires at this time. It's more along the lines of
There could be families in the sense of, oh, that's my brother, my cousin. They're not really like clan, and you could be brought into a clan, but they don't really. The politics that they do are mainly for vampire business, not, oh, we have to make sure this event goes well, so that the humans stay. They, at best, the more stuck-up vampires think of humans as just livestock.
fair
And you
enough.
got the weird vegetarian vampire family. Fuck them.
Because vampires are a completely separate species. That probably evolved alongside humanity and just happened to take a different path that worked.
Are you gonna look like an Aztec god of fitness, by the way?
If he takes his shirt off, most likely he is going to be a lot more fit than you would think. He does. He does have.
JM, you have to make a theme song every time he does that from now on.
All right, wait, hold on. So how would we recognize you? I am simply curious if my character would recognize you right off the bat. So what are the signs that would give you away?
He doesn't have a reflection, and just because for some bizarre reason vampire physiology reacts negatively to silver, and a lot of mirrors and cameras back in those times were silver backed, so they just don't show up in those reflections. They'll show up in other reflections, but just nothing with silver.
Mm-hmm. Just
They
about
tend
every camera used a mirror.
Yeah.
Well, not so much the mirrors, more like a silver backed mirror, because those are the most common. Later on in history, I think it wasn't until modern times mirrors started back with aluminum.
Yeah,
Or sorry, British,
aluminum is relatively
with
new
aluminium.
material.
Yeah. It's,
So either that, and the majority of them tend to just stick around at night. There are some that come out in the middle of the day, but they'll be really covered up, or they'll just have a lot of sunscreen on. And they also eat quite a lot of food, just because their metabolisms burn through it a lot faster.
Mm-hmm. But you don't necessarily drink people's blood then.
They can, and that was their original survival tactic, and they can heal from doing so. But they have other ways to gain nutrients. Blood just happens to heal them but they can also eat food. Or rather, blood can heal them much faster, but they can also recover on their own much faster than a human would.
What about
So you're not a
physically?
walking murderer.
Oh,
He is
Not
my
anymore,
character is
anyway.
not, no. If anything, that's probably why my character became a surgeon, because he eventually saw humans as something that had potential. So either that, or one of the problems with vampires is that because they were so powerful compared to humans back in ancient times, they didn't really have a need to come together or to develop technology or culture. And then when eventually humans started getting out of their caves and started forming clans and whatnot, and realized there was power in numbers, vampires were like, oh, wait, these guys can gang up on us. We should probably be careful of them.
Just to be clear, your character is a vampire doctor who doesn't eat people.
He can't eat people. He chooses not to.
So he is
He's one of
the
those Twilight
father from
vampires.
Twilight.
Yeah.
I love Twilight
I was
so
just about-
much.
Ugh.
Not for the right reasons.
He doesn't.
Okay.
Unless you count sizzling in the sun as sparkling, then technically, but he is not a domestic abuser, if that's what you're asking.
The father in
Alright.
the father vampire in Twilight is a doctor who has a moral issue with eating people.
Yeah, he doesn't drink blood or anything like that.
It's just
But
I
so
find them
physically,
hilarious.
He might have stopped doing it just because humans are disgusting. Like you never know where the blood has been. To be brutally honest.
well, I mean,
Ew,
cows are
frozen
disgusting,
blood.
but I still eat hamburgers.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair.
That's
Cows are
after,
cute.
yeah, but you do clean the cow first before you slaughter it, and then you clean the meat. Human with a vampire, they kind of just see human and drink it like a mosquito, and then just keep going.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Alright. So yeah, no, yeah. I've seen that episode. That's great. I love
Cows aren't disgusting.
it.
I
I've
just
seen it.
posted a link for those of you who can't see Discord to a thing from House where there's a guy who walked in saying that he loved cows.
To be fair, it was simply so he could castrate himself chemically and stop getting a boner for his stepmom.
That's just utterly ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah.
The picture he had of his stepmom was hot. I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Yeah, I mean, she was a remarkable Holstein.
Yeah.
Oh, you've killed me a bit. But I think you were trying to ask a question, Casper, about the
yeah.
physical.
Yes. Is there anything physical appearance-wise, even if you cover it up, is there anything physically appearance-wise, internal or external, that would show you to be not human?
They have a much denser muscular structure, bordering on the molecular level. So
Okay.
if you were to actually weigh him, for example, he'd be a lot heavier than he looks but as a result of that, he's also much stronger, pound for pound.
No, fair enough. I'd have to leave this one. I think I have to.
And he does have
things.
and he does have fangs and claws that he can retract and pull out at will.
Oh, okay, but okay. So I would instantly be able to tell that you're a vampire. Okay.
If you saw my fangs and claws, yes, you would. Or
you being in my radius allows me to know that you're a vampire.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm not going to flaunt my status as a vampire, but if you you ask me,
I'm not gonna out you or anything. I just needed to know for when I start playing the character, whether or not my character would have that particular knowledge when he meets you.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do have a unique physical makeup, so that's probably one reason why my character became a doctor, because a lot of human medicine doesn't work on vampires. So he probably started doing it specifically because he wanted to bring vampires out of the shadows. Pun not intended. Wait, who are we kidding? Pun is intended. Pun is always intended.
Now that I think about it, Hattie, is there anything that is different about your human form? Like, if it's
actually the human form itself, the only thing you will be noticed if you can sense magic some way, that he is constantly having like this magical aura, but it's actually like a physical transformation so you will probably not be able to tell that it's actually not a
Okay.
human.
If
Besides,
there's
he has a
nothing
top
physical,
hat and
yeah,
the
it's.
mustaches.
Oh, yeah, my character, as far as I'm concerned, cannot sense magic. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I cannot. It's matter only. So if there's something physical in your makeup that would out you,
No, physically he is a human while as he is in that form.
okay, then yeah, I would have no idea about you.
Okay, yeah, in that case, yeah, physically you would be able to tell I'm not human, but at the same time you wouldn't be able to place that I'm a vampire unless I wouldn't be human.
Well,
but at the same time, unless I
that
specifically
goes-
told you,
Yeah, well, that goes back to
you wouldn't
me.
put two and two together.
Yeah, that goes back to me being a member of the Illuminati and how much information I have access to or have looked up.
How much information would the Illuminati and Dragon Society have on each other now when I think about it?
I guess it would depend on whether or not the Dragon Society is part of the Illuminati.
I guess they are too proud to, deal with monkeys that closely.
hey. All right, fair enough.
They knew that you knew that they
so-
knew that they knew that you knew that they knew that you knew that
Yeah.
they knew that they knew
So
that
that-
you knew.
But yeah, they
about
probably
that might-
each other at least know that they exist or something like that.
Yeah.
Exists. Yeah, I would expect that the Illuminati would have knowledge of vampires.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so I would be familiar with that.
I do
I
quite
obviously still can't tell if Hattie's a dragon. I wouldn't be able to know if Hattie's a dragon because
Unless you point some sort of thing that denies magic or dispels magic. I specifically notice it in the alternate form that any sort of dispelling will revert him back to the dragon.
Nope, can't do that. That is not my shtick. But that's is anyone else playing a non-human? Just out of curiosity.
I think that's it. You're just a human,
Oh.
Z.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm a human.
Just a regular.
If all the shenanigans hasn't gotten your attention, audience, I don't know what will.
Oh yes, the audience that consists out of me and someone else.
Oh yes.
I'll stick this on YouTube as well, and I will
Okay,
also probably try and turn this into a
Last time
podcast.
I was in this sort of streaming campaign, it's ended after YouTube decided to be a dick about it.
Ugh.
I still believe that because we have an episode of one character fucking shooting at a child with a shotgun.
I
might
might
have
have done
done
that in one or more campaigns.
Oh, Z, where is your character from?
Well, it was more of a grenade.
Still working on his background, but I can tell you he is from somewhere between Spain and Portugal,
Okay.
probably a neighboring town there. And throughout his life, he's moved to France, Italy, and he's now in England.
Okay, I'm just trying to mark where we are from on the map.
Mm-hmm.
And so you think you'd be a British detective now, or maybe for another organization entirely? I'm really enjoying this idea that perhaps you've all been sent
I'm
by
liking it.
respective groups to.
I'm liking it.
Yeah, it could be either way.
Ooh,
That's
bit
actually a good thing because we know that we are not, we all special in some way, but we will probably know exactly how special we are.
Mhm.
So enough intrigue, but we don't have to do this whole clueless tavern thingy.
Yeah, why?
It's like
should
the
we
intro to
join
the
each
Justice
other?
League.
Kind of, sorta. But
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
If you guys are interested, the World of Darkness book Under the Vigil has a lot of secret organizations that we might be able to use here, unless you just want to use your own homebrew ones. In which case, no.
I'm pretty sure you love that stuff, don't you, Z Warrior?
We can't use the Illuminati because they're trademark. We have to call it the
Are they?
Illuminati
We can't use the
Obscurinati.
Wait,
because they're
Illuminati.
trademarks.
Seriously?
The Bloomalati.
The Illuminati is trademarked?
Really?
By what?
No.
By who? The Illuminati?
Exactly.
I guess we're gonna be stonecutters then.
Well, there's also the Masons.
Yeah,
That would be a good one.
Freemasons.
Freemasons.
I'm kidding
is
about it
also-
being I'm kidding about it being trademarked.
Oh,
but
okay. I was like that. I didn't think that was possible.
We've all got gullible. Like
Could be
9
the
clearly.
squirrels.
And I'm kind of literal-minded as well.
I'm altering my character sheet gullibility.
we just can't use the real life names. We got to use like the Shmalumalati, the half price Masons,
The half-Christ Masons.
the discount Masons.
Bogo Mason.
Like, what do you think would sound better
Ah.
if I just say Dragon Society, or if I go find the translator to the Skyrim Dragon language and use stupid shit that it will put out?
Wait,
Yeah,
can we like? I cannot imagine that the names are trademarks.
I doubt it.
I actually
can't-
believe trademarks only work like in the specific field.
Yeah, I don't think we'd actually have a problem using the actual names.
The evil Dr.
But
Pepsi
I-
kicks down the door. Pulls
My
out.
Dr. Pepper.
Excuse me?
I'm glad that we're on the same page there. But I actually like the idea of Freemasons being one of the groups. So we got the dragons. I don't know what we call them.
Actually, the thing is, when I was creating my character, I was asking about languages, and the GM specifically told me to not put Draconic, but put Western Draconic, so there are probably multiple Dragon Societies.
Well, Eastern and Western dragons are very different.
Yeah.
That was my reason.
But that would mean that there are more than one society, though.
Probably.
So
No, fair enough.
While it's not going to be infinite worldsy at all, there are going to be other planes for sure. Shadows of this world, alternates maybe.
The universe when we all are communists.
If only.
Is this universe?
Does anyone have?
It is this universe, right, Tavarich?
Until 1850.
Just wait.
And then everything
not
changed
yet.
when the Fire Nation attacked.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at the map, most of the countries are red.
Although, why this map is like US centric? Actually, it's kind of weird.
It is really weird map.
I did fix it, but it looks weird when it's fixed.
It looks even weirder when it's.
I
fixed.
really need to get access to this fucking page because you guys are talking about all this. and
Have
I
you
can't
still not
see it.
got it? Gives a sec.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I'll try and just find. Like, I'm logged in, but it's just not on. It's not pulling up. I just don't get it.
So what DM you say? We're just gonna say like, for example, Dragon Society, or you want me to come
Yeah.
out with some fancy schmancy Latin word for that?
If you'd like to come up with that, I would be more than on board with it. But if you would also like to just call it Dragon Society, then I'm on board.
To be
with
fair, it probably would be called in Draconic, but that's not a real language.
that.
Unless
Or
we're gonna
just
use
not give
something
it-
from Skyrim, I guess.
Or just have an
Well,
or just not give it a name, period. And whenever anyone asks, just say, "We're still working on a name," and and everyone's just so used to not having a name, they just put it by the wayside.
Is that my organization called
We are the
Work in
society
Progress?
that has no name. That name doesn't count, or this one, or just name pending. And
I
then
mean, to be fair, I
Well,
don't believe
translate
it's
to
like a
Latin or
complete
something.
organization. It's like more like just a society,
Mm.
like
Well,
not a hierarchy. Like we know that we exist, but we don't like have a specific meetings or stuff like that. We just have like a set of rules that everybody must follow.
Mm.
like
Essentially like a masquerade.
It seems like the dragons would follow more like a council of elders than like anything else. So
That depends on how you wanna do it. There's so much shit on this sort of dragon society things in that dragon book.
Mm. It's your choice entirely, I would say. You're the dragon.
I would work on that, but I would believe that it's mostly like a set of rules than the actual organization or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe like Dracon should be like a territorial, so they will not really interact with each other much.
Okay.
Also, I still have no idea where my character would be from. Let's say Prussia, just because I'm in Kaliningrad.
Radical.
My backup character is from.
I didn't even think to make a backup character.
I've got an idea for a backup character, but I've been mainly focusing on making the vampire template.
Oh no, fair enough. Like I've had to alter the vampire
I
template a couple
wasn't even
times when I zoomed
thinking
again.
about backups,
um,
but mostly because I have too
I'm-
many games
I'm-
going on.
I'm gonna focus on keeping this character alive. I think, and this is something I
let's.
think
There are more than
should be
enough points
stated.
to buy.
I
Then
asked
die.
I asked Luke about this earlier on whether or not this was going to be a lethal campaign as to where we can die. I personally prefer that.
I absolutely
Uh,
think death should be on the table
oh yeah,
for all of you.
because
But
yeah,
at the same time, I'm not planning on just going out to kill all of you.
We
But,
can die if we are killed.
That depends
Yeah.
on what kind of DM you are, honestly,
The-
because there are different philosophies on that.
Yeah, I'm not an adversarial GM.
he's not trying to kill us, but we can die.
But
Actually, the way I do it is, unless player is doing something fucking stupid and just asking for it, they will probably not die.
You won't
Yes.
try to kill them, but if they do something stupid, you're just gonna grab the popcorn and watch them.
Like last
Yeah.
session, one of my players like, you hunting a dragon. As a vampire, why the fuck are you opening the suspiciously looking coffin in the middle of the room? That was your mistake, not mine. Don't blame me.
To be fair, they opened it with a stick, with a very long stick.
No, he opened it with his arms, and he's a sorcerer, so he had 10 HP.
Yeah, I only have like 10 HP.
I have actually around 15 HP in the human form, so that could be dangerous.
Human, yeah. Well, at this point, I think I have a question. Would any of our organizations be adversarial to each other?
That's a very good question.
That's not. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for inter-party conflicts.
Yeah.
I'm all for that kind of back and forth and just that those situations because I personally think those bring about the most fun. But specifically, I'd like to say that have picked my organization of Illuminati.
What we have actually from
would I would be.
organizations? We have Illuminati, we have Dragon Society, what else?
Catholic
Freemasons,
Church.
Catholic Church. I mean, there are plenty. Hell, Druids could be a part of it too. I mean, whatever you kind of want to think about. Like the well-known ones are definitely the Freemasons and the Illuminati, and the Catholic Church.
Those would be...
And I'm just trying to think about is there any reasons for them to be in the conflict with each other?
Well, and it might not necessarily be like we don't like you and we want to attack you and end your civilization. It's more along the lines of, we'd rather be the ones on top when everything stops falling into place. We want to be the ones on top. You guys can be right under us. And it's more of a competition. I was thinking more that way, since it seems more along the lines of that the organizations are trying to control what's going on via information. Now, I totally would get if one or more organizations, namely the Catholic Church, was against some of us, namely the Dragons. Catholic Church.
Are there dragons in Bible?
Yeah, dragon snakes are bad. Like a lot of famous paintings depict great heroes slaying dragons.
I think the
but
dragons are
the
mainly
church
a
would-
metaphor for the
Yeah.
demons, just because those were easier for people to see.
But
I don't know if they were
that's actually
specifically-
one of the interesting things. You notice that pretty much every culture on the planet has myth about dragons, essentially.
I don't know about Native Americans, but yeah, like Asia
Like,
and
even-
Europe definitely do.
Like, even Russians had the dragon in the fairy tales.
Really?
Yeah, Zmei Gorinich, the three-headed dragon that kidnaps the princess. Because that's actually a classical thing to do, apparently.
Oh, totally.
Give me that princess.
Or just
Yeah,
have a
that's-
dragonborn noble paladin, and that can play all three roles. And through a series of mix-ups, they are hired to save themselves from themselves.
Well, I mean, no, I mean, we don't necessarily have to establish it now, but one of the things that I would kind of like to, if they are against each other in any way, shape, or form, if they want, if the organization send orders down to hinder certain people.
I
I'd
think
like
unless
I-
go ahead, sorry.
I'm just saying, like, this is an idea, and previous gym I worked with did it this way when we were all part of different organizations that clashed a little bit. He would give the orders at a point where, like, we would just go into another room to do
Mhm.
that. Whereas here we would go into a different chat, but that way it would keep a little bit. It would force us to really be thinking about what's going on.
Yeah, I also like that idea that if you are from separate organizations, it would be fun for you each to be receiving separate orders in certain circumstances.
Which means none of you can be watching the stream while we stream. Otherwise, you'll know.
It's also just really difficult.
Numbers, man.
Yeah,
It's really just difficult to watch a stream while it's going
Yeah.
too, because you
I
get
just
that
tried
delay,
that,
because
like,
you
a
get that
couple-
delay, because you get that delay.
Oh yeah. Well,
I just
mean,
tried that a few minutes ago.
I
wasn't.
wasn't actually suggesting it. I was just trying to be funny. But I mean, yeah, I could see how that could be bad. But
I think
I'm just
the-
saying, reminder, don't like, and so also, but that also keeps us from watching the replays till after a certain amount of time has passed.
Well, to be fair, if we're all gentlemen, we should be able to separate the stuff we know and the stuff our characters know.
Mm-hmm,
Oh,
yeah.
Although that
Especially
could get
'cause we-
challenging.
No, I
Especially 'cause
agree.
Yeah, I
we know
think in
that
term-
we all have different motives too. It's not
Yeah.
secret that we're doing things differently.
Yeah, I think there's a in terms of the mythology of the setting, I think the best way to put it is all things are true, but few things are accurate. People have their preconceived notions about what's going on, but actuality, it's not quite that, or it's something very similar, but very, very different.
That is close to
Yeah.
how I've been feeling. Like, much of the
I
supernatural.
think he was quoting you.
Oh, did I? Really?
I've heard that
No,
before at some point.
I don't think
I've heard
said
that before today at some point.
You've said it before once already,
yeah.
Wiggly.
Wiggle might have said it, or somebody might have said it, but that was very close to something I heard earlier.
Yeah, I asked ages ago, are various deities real in some sense or purely an explanation for supernatural events? You replied, probably real in some sense in some cases.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I suggested the separate conversation so that none of us know what our orders are or what it is, it wasn't necessarily for the stream. It was more for our fun.
Absolutely.
Because
Yeah.
it adds another level.
And it's easier to roleplay when you don't actually know the stuff you should not know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting you guys to metagame. In fact, I expect you guys not to metagame because metagaming kind of sucks.
Yeah,
But
well said.
it's not so. But it not only is it easier on us to not metagame, but it's a lot more fun to be like, what the fuck is he up to? I've got to figure this out, kind of thing.
Yeah, my character's going to be a doctor, but the extent of my actual anatomical knowledge is the bone song.
Hip bones connect.
Or attach that, or
bone.
don't put that doohickey in the thingamajig.
And
But
the
the
patient
thingamajig
woke up,
and the
his
thingamajigger.
skeleton was missing, and the doctor was never heard from again.
Yeah, I can
That's how you
just
lost
see,
your medical license.
I can just see one of your surgeries going, that thingamadoohickey is supposed to connect to the thingamajig. You should do that. Here, I'll do it. It's not connecting quite right.
Like, are your character like a practicing physician, or he is just like an amateur hobbyist?
Okay, a heads up. I can also heal, assuming that your bones don't need reattaching. It's something else that's a problem. My character also has a bit of healing talent.
My character can also regenerate either just naturally, like Wolverine, or they can speed it up by drinking blood, unless it's UV light or silver
Okay.
for
Yeah.
the injury.
I mean, like I can heal you guys.
Yeah, you can heal others.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was trying to say.
Path of body magic can be used for healing, right?
Yep.
Yes,
So
but
I guess can do that.
We're
as
all
well.
white mages. Yay! I love it.
It's all
Read-
white to be all white.
I'll do
I mean,
that.
I was just thinking about like essentially taking every form of magic because if you lived long enough, you would probably like have some idea of every sort of magic by this point.
Yeah, no, it makes sense to me.
I'd be fine with you.
Ah,
Taking all them
so-
paths.
I already have half of them.
So I'm kind of curious. Does everybody have an organization that I know the dragons stuck with the dragon organization, and I'm pretty much set on Illuminati, but I'm kind of curious as to what everyone else kind of wants to do.
I don't think the vampires have a formal organization. They have the families that on occasion will interact with each other, but they don't really have a culture or an organization.
Do you associate with non-vampire things though?
It would really depend on the vampire, on the individual vampire. Like some just
We're talking
them
about
like
your
ants.
individual vampire.
Yeah.
Me personally, yes, he would have gone. He eventually got bored, went to medical school, got a doctor, became a physician, and he eventually became independently wealthy just because over the years he had.
I think you missed the question.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I wanted to ask about certain thing regarding wealth. You know the whole stories about dragons being, hoarders? Should I go with that? How you feel about that? Because I have more than enough point to buy filthy rich. Because, I may have some kind of like cave in the mountain full of gold but that I sleep on or something like that. Or will it break your campaign?
Well,
I don't
You
think.
personally paid to cast a bed out of solid gold and have it shipped to your.
Yeah, but that's actually only 100 point considering our,
Mhm.
limitations.
I actually like that. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'd be fine.
Let's go full retard. May as well have
Well-
like a tribe of kobolds
Well-
serving me.
The only thing I'd ask you to do is have some stories where you came into a particularly big windfall. Like, I bet on this guy at the Coliseum. This, yeah.
I
I should
like-
probably
I
look
have
into
Maximus.
history and find like this sort of situations when I may have actually
like-
been then. Will be challenging because I'm actually not a history buff myself.
But I mean, like, you could look at what is it in Gladiator? What was the guy's name?
Spartacus?
No.
Spartacus. Like,
Russell
there's
Crowe?
this one guy named Spartacus that I had a good feeling about, so I placed a pretty big bet on him, and boy, did I clean up! And you have all these Roman gold coins.
I mean,
They
Probably
don't have
could
to. It
happen,
doesn't
yeah.
have to be. It doesn't have to be like it's all these old gold that is actually, funnily enough, worth more than it was because
yeah, that's actually I don't know how to actually make it mechanically because that would not be the pile of GURPS dollars.
Yeah.
And then I had this weird deja vu where I saw this Spartacus guy again, but
Yeah.
he was wandering around Paris singing.
Just think about it. If you actually will be like undying, you would probably be able to make a good investment.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Like you should be able to do that at least a couple times. At least
Oh,
keep it going.
unaging, not undying. I keep confusing them.
Unaging. That's what I meant. Like that's eventually what maybe I could.
Yeah,
get
my
at.
character he did find some gold, some precious metals every now and then. Made some bets, lost some bets, hibernated for a few centuries, came back. Oh, turns out, that his stock is worth like Fry in Futurama, where he had a little bit of money he stashed away.
Mhm.
He came back 100 years later. Came back 1,000 years later. Oh, by the way, you're a millionaire now. Oh, because turns
Well-
out the stock you picked were really
One
good.
of my
But it
friends
doesn't
actually
really work
calculated
that
this and
way
said that that's
in,
not a
like, at the
realistic
time.
interest rate in the
Mm.
banks.
You could at
Like,
least
if it-
stash some gold.
especially for this time. Like stashing it away and coming back to it later is a thing, but investments where you reap benefits like a shareholder, not quite a thing yet.
I'm
I
not
think.
sure. It depended how the value of gold inflated as well throughout history.
Yeah, gold prices have generally gone up.
Mm.
Not really,
Well,
actually. This
really?
whole
But yeah,
like when
for a
we
while,
had this like
Well-
the sanction war going on during the Ukraine situation, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
Actually, the gold prices plummeted during that because everybody was expecting Russia to sell the gold stocks during that time.
Oh shit!
and plus for a good long while, aluminum was actually more than gold.
Yeah, because until we figure out the efficient way to produce it, it was actually like the most expensive metal.
Oh wow. Okay, I didn't know that. Never mind.
So yeah, my character isn't going to be filthy rich like a dragon, but he's probably made.
I may add kleptomancy on top of that, so I will not be the kind
Yeah.
of guy who will be okay with spending this fortune.
Well,
And he'd also be a
you-
conventional physician, so yeah, he's got a good amount of money from just being a good physician.
let's be fair here. He's also a dragon, which basically means that if he sees a trade vessel, he could just kill it, go and attack the trade vessel, and then take
And
everything.
happening, and since he is a historian, he may as well fabricate some documents about how exactly this vessel was synced. Blame Germans for that. No, wait, I'm German. I'm gonna blame French.
I mean, you could also just like sink the vessel and then take off with all the good
Oh
stuff,
yeah,
and
and
then
let's
let
do that
people
in
wonder.
Bermuda Triangle.
It's like Lost at Sea. That's not totally uncommon for this day and age.
Yeah.
Everything's still being explored.
If this campaign were set in the modern era, your character will be the founder of Weekly World News.
Or some sort of, the CEO of the mega corporation.
Yeah, it's all about the control of information.
Well,
Oh god, the lizard people in control in the world.
Okay,
Just
so,
nobody knows that lizard means dragon in that context.
Well, I know about us three. I know about Wiggle, me, and Hattie. But what about you, Z, and Joseph? Jeff? Jared, damn it.
It helpfully says my name in Discord.
It has a B.
That's
Has a
better, by
stylized
the
B.
way.
you
No,
might have to
it's neither of
reconnect
those.
to invoice. It is just the, how do you pronounce that? ISET?
Oh, so it would also be the same for Z then, because he also changed it, I think, to have his
Okay,
name.
yeah.
But it doesn't.
Z's an upside down question mark. Jared, there we go. Okay. But yeah, Z's an upside down question mark.
Can you do that as well, GM? Because I have no idea how to pronounce you.
Oh yeah.
Zero.
I think I've still not told
That's
everyone.
eyeball.
Because this symbol is usually represents the missing symbol.
My name Luke.
So,
Nice.
so Z Warrior Jared, the rest of us seem to know kind of where we're coming from. Wiggle still hasn't quite, I think, found his organization. But what about you guys? Did you have any ideas of where you wanted to come from?
It could be that your independence.
Why would independents suddenly stumble on the, meetings of Illuminati, Masons, and Dragons? That need a good explanation.
Yeah, they.
Well, it's also that
Because we're basically talking about organizations that control world at this point.
Well, they can be independent, but they could be hired by somebody, say the Catholic Church.
And also, no, because they're a bunch of devils, and also
Well, no,
there's
they're
something
human.
that's going to be happening
We're
at
devils.
that world exhibition.
Event at the World Exhibition.
I, by the way, really like the idea that World Exhibition was actually organized by secret organizations to make some sort of meetings.
Yeah.
That actually sounds. It sounds very viable. I like that a lot. I'll be honest. That's pretty cool.
There is an organization that's kind of been alluded to that it's not based on a real thing that I think my character would be a part of.
Oh.
Okay.
That just goes around trying to suppress blatant supernatural stuff.
Okay, so just an additional organization as yet unnamed.
So we have Illuminati, we have Dragons, and we have your organization now doing essentially the same thing.
Well, but for their own purposes. The question would be, what is your organization's purpose?
I did just say that.
Suppress the supernatural.
Oh, like purely that is the reason for your organization existing, is to suppress the supernatural?
Yes.
Okay. For example, dragons will suppress the supernatural because they just think like hoping to outlive the humans, hoping the monkeys will essentially at some point eliminate each other.
And I know the
Illuminati will probably want to control the world, right?
We control the world through controlling information and people and bunches. It's just through control, and controlling information is a big part of that. So yeah.
Cold world could be so much interesting in our time. like with this
So-
whole concept.
So Jared, would your organization want to suppress the knowledge or totally get rid of supernatural things
knowledge.
entirely?
Just the knowledge.
But
And also the
why?
dangerous ones.
But why?
Yeah, because you have what your organization
To
does,
stop
but why
chaos.
they do it? Oh god, that's an
to
anarchist organization.
cause
To stop
chaos.
chaos. I said stop.
Wouldn't
Stop
causing
it.
chaos actually would be spreading the supernatural actually.
So
Yes,
Fair
that's
enough.
what I said.
Okay,
Stop
so
chaos.
okay. So to prevent the world from being plunged into a
madhouse where
okay, fair enough.
Fair enough, yeah.
Basically to stop the end of the world from humans killing
Do they
each
have a
other over
name or
fear.
something like
Okay,
that?
I like it.
name as
The
yet
hand-
undecided.
Oh,
The hand of
FYI,
fate.
Casper, we can hear your money.
I think it's bottle caps.
It is indeed bottle caps.
It is a money at some point in the future.
Totally.
Buy me a
Well, save
laser
that
rifle.
for the Fallout game.
Yeah. Fallout in GURPS.
That could have happened at some point.
Fallout in GURPS. Oh yeah.
No, yeah, the other way around. They actually was considering GURPS as a system for original Fallout, but Steve Jackson decided to be a dick about it.
Yep. So instead, it's just kind of a rip-off.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have been going for about an hour. If anyone would like a quick break, I think now would be a good time for one. I personally would like one. Actually.
Define the time of the break.
Just 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah. Be right
So-
back then.
Yeah, we'll be
Alright.
right back.
Absolutely.
Take 5.
We be back. Alright, so, still waiting to hear from Z Warrior. Do you belong to any kind of organisation, or are you an independent?
I'm not sure. It could be an organization, or it could just be like a one-off.
I do like the idea of maybe a mundane associate. What's that word I'm looking for? The liaison for
Normie?
the. I don't know how normie you're going. Yeah, I can't imagine it's going to be very.
Actually, that is a good question. Are any governments, like, what is the world powers at this time period? I'm actually not sure. Like, I assume British. They
Yeah.
probably have their empire by this time.
Fair bit. I think America's been independent for what, like 70 years?
Well, that's their problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they're about to have a kind of nasty civil war.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there any governments that will know about like this? Like, at least we know that this sort of thing exists. Like, they don't have any details. Because during, for example, World War II, I'm pretty sure Germans had some sort of supernatural divisions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
immortalized in the documentary Indiana Jones.
Let's make Indiana Jones canon in our setting.
Well, the Queen Victoria is still going strong around this time period, so maybe she's met Van Helsing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Van Helsing would be cool, yes.
Well, if you want to go by Doctor Who, the royal family has known about this kind of shit for a long ass time.
I would really want to go with Doctor Who. But the king at the minute is a German fella who's got lots of fancy ideas, I think.
I only watched the 11th Doctor.
I've not managed to watch a full episode or any, I don't think.
Watch the original shit from like 1964. Absolutely amazing.
I am anti anything British.
Oh,
British
well.
media is terrible. It's terrible.
You underestimate your media.
Uh,
Wait,
some of it's
you're not
good.
you're not British.
No,
He's
Or-
from
or
the
are you?
United Kingdom. He's not.
I am British.
Oh, you are British.
I am English. Engelsk.
I've been to Stratford and London. And I managed to fool in New Zealander with my British accent. Does that count?
Too far south, but New Zealand's alright, I think.
It isn't too hard to fool in the Zealander with an accent.
have a player from Australia in my campaign?
I'm no good. I can't do Stryan.
Oh no, he's
I did a study
actually
abroad in Stratford upon Avon.
unless
That's a nice
until
place.
he actually told me that he doesn't have like any noticeable accent. I still telling him so to read that fucking hentai manga translated into Australian accent.
But yeah, so Z.
No organization, you think?
But yeah, no organization means some problems. Mean how exactly were you brought into this meetings? Now, when we pretty much decided that it's a meeting of powerful secret organizations at this point.
Well, he doesn't really need an organization. He just has to have basically a reason for
He also just
crashing
unmuted
our
himself to
meeting.
say that.
Yeah, go on. Z.
Yeah. Well, it's likely I could be there out of my own interests. And well, I made a character based on the Hiltonatio tradition from Mage the Ascension. Does anyone know anything about him?
You're coming in very faint. What did you say?
The Hiltonatos tradition.
I
Okay, let
don't
me
know
read.
that word.
Yeah, let me read a little bit about him. It goes like this: Death is not an end, but simply part of a larger cycle. Life picks up where death leaves off, and death finishes what life begins, bringing it back around for another go at things. Sometimes a life becomes toxic to everything nearby. At that point, death becomes a blessing the Altanatos tradition is ready to bestow. So, more correctly, they should be called the Eltanatoi. Uh, so, in Mage Ascension, they are traditional mages. That means a group that has an identity, and they see themselves as keepers of the will, capital W. Uh, that's basically the will, the great cycle of life and death, and they make sure the wheel keeps turning.
You're Mufasa.
What?
The circle of life.
Lion King.
Yeah. So that might be a problem with all you immortals around. I might have to grease the wheel with your soul or something.
Okay, so we just found our adversary.
How many immortals do we have? A dragon, a vampire, then what else?
I can possibly become one later
So
on.
there's all these mortal
I
guys.
did ask that my backup character is strictly human, depending on if Luke didn't want too many immortal doctors running around.
Again, there are only 2 doctors.
Only 2 doctors.
Or
do
2
you
immortals.
have an actual doctorate?
My character most likely would, yes, but he would be a physician.
Like, does he has a PhD? Like, is it important for us to call him doctor?
Where did you go to university?
I haven't picked one yet.
Okay, but you did. All right.
He's like a bard, jack of all trades. He's picked up a thing or two there.
Mm-hmm.
Or he probably went to school every now, well, just to make it more on the up and up because people are starting to get suspicious. But it's still a work in
Twilight.
progress.
I even created this thing on my character sheet that I have in my equipment book. Comprehensive overview of 16th century's Germany by Dr. Johann Faust, Pilot Edition.
There you go. Published works, mate.
I actually have an actual published work.
In the real lives.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was surprised when I found out that it actually exists because I was not doing it.
Oh. I'll be one moment. But so, Z Warrior. So this is a larger organization, but sounds kind of loosely knit. No particular leaders or anything.
And well, we don't have to copy it strictly how they put in Image Ascension
Mm-hmm.
and twist it a little bit. Could be just one guy. He could be like the only one that he's crazy and he believes in this stuff. Or there could be other people like him, but yes, in Mage Ascension they don't really have a tight organization.
Mm-hmm.
They have a responsibility with their students. So when someone joins a tradition, they would have like a mentor, and that one guy would be responsible for them, and that's basically where you'll get some cohesion. But other than that, they're just free to do their stuff.
Okay.
For some reason, you're coming in very faint on my end.
I have Z Warrior turned up to about 140% in Discord. If you right click someone's name, you can adjust volumes.
Okay, I just did.
So
Mm-hmm.
that might sort you out a bit.
And I'm looking up medical places. Looks like my character got his doctorate from Edinburgh.
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 That's where my character was born. Beautiful place.
Scotland.
Scotland. Oh, I've been to Scotland and I don't feel well. I've caught Scotch disease.
I thought that was called drinking.
You get it from drinking too much iron brew. I am also getting ghost pings from one of the channels in our.
And you're an owner.
Yeah. I think there's a ghost in there. I was trying to do some Discord fanciness, but I think I messed up. Feel free to mute that channel until I fix it.
I did post something and there's a test again, but I don't. Unless everyone has been doing that, it might be.
Nope.
I see that.
Okay, yes, you can make it
Let's turn it
go,
into a
but you can't see
shitposting
anything.
channel.
Ghostiness. So
Haunted on our end. Go on.
I'm kind of curious. So are we gonna know? I don't know if we're gonna know today, but I'm assuming we're at least gonna know why we're being brought together. So I know, like, I'm still not sure. I'm still not quite sure how Wiggles or Z's getting to be part of this meeting.
Just because they're not members of the organizations doesn't mean they've not got any knowledge of them and what they're up to.
I mean, maybe they were hired by organizations like a freelance thingies.
Yeah,
Or maybe they just saw the event and crashed the party and they got dragged into it.
That's the fastest way to get killed.
Yeah, that's
well,
risky.
crash the party in the sense of the World Fair it's a big event. They probably just happened to be there for their own reasons when things went down. Then they realized they could help and decided to join.
Well, things might also not be going down because according to our lore, this whole World's Fair. I'm just gonna call it a World's Fair because I don't remember the actual name of it. The World's Fair was made specifically for our get together, to cover our get together.
If things went
We're
down,
gonna assume that our organizations normally don't work together.
No, so we're not. I mean, we're obviously not planning for anything to go down. We're not there. We're not. It doesn't. I don't think we'd be at the World's Fair to stop something from hurting the World's Fair, considering we're the ones that put the World's Fair together.
It is a very big event, though.
It is a. I'm sure something could happen, but it seems like the purpose for us coming together in our meeting as a task force would be to be dealing with a much larger issue than, oh, this monster wants to destroy this building.
Probably it's like a Cthulhu trying to invade the world or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel
Thanos
like
is coming, something
uh,
like that.
I jump to Apocalypse a lot, but Apocalypse coming does certainly motivate people better than most of the things.
So there's an apocalypse now?
Apocalypse soon.
Just asking, Apocalypse as concept or Apocalypse as a DC character?
It's, as a concept.
Little column A, little column B.
Oh, wait, was it called Apocalypse? No, wait, he wasn't. That was the world.
Apocalypse Now is a movie.
Oh,
Right?
was it like something from X-Men's?
No, it's just a word.
No, I'm pretty sure there was a character named Apocalypse in the
there
comics or
is-
Probably
something like
there-
that.
There
are
is
lots of comic
there is a
book
character.
characters.
Yeah, there's a character called Apocalypse in X-Men. But Apocalypse Now is a movie, and whatever other Apocalypse we're talking about, I'm sure is some other.
Mm,
But
it's a pretty badass name. Might change my name to Apocalypse.
there you go.
Hmm.
We're fighting against the Apocalypse. Well, fuck, he happens to be the GM. We lose.
But aye, and yeah, like I think there were millions of visitors to this World's Fair over
Oh yeah.
a fair period of time. So there's no reason why some of those visitors wouldn't have been fancy folks or vampire or something else entirely.
Well, and apart from the Catholic Church, we're not necessarily out to end the supernatural. We're just there to control the knowledge of it, right?
Essentially, at
Catholic
this
Church
point,
is
we're
the
just trying to,
supernatural.
maintain the status quo.
Yeah, we should lock
Oh.
this down. I think the Catholic Church are the bad guys.
Yeah.
They're devils.
Prepare to be copyright striked.
How dare you make the Catholic Church the bad guys?
It's not the Catholic. They've been into pod demons.
Infiltrated by devils.
Thank you. Words escaped me. Yep.
And also there are no children in this setting, so they can't be evil.
No
They
children
can't
in
be
this
evil?
setting.
I'm confused. Oh,
That was
ha. I get it.
Get used to doing that a lot around
Just
me in general as well.
This is like,
But
you know what's wrong is that there, and then it didn't associate your comment with there, and then eventually it was like, oh. So I went around in a giant circle. I was like, yeah, that was on my mind, and then I was like, huh. I moved on the circle, and I was like, huh. I don't get it, and I'm back full circle.
Well, no major arguments with a Catholic Church being a major adversary that several groups have got together to discuss. And
yeah, no, like the amount of wars that they start and all sorts of crap. Yeah, no, they're
And also
Yeah,
they're controlled by
they-
devils.
yeah,
devils.
I would
dicks,
assume if we
same
go
thing.
by this whole dragons being a metaphor for the devils, probably our organization will not be okay with them to begin with.
and
Yeah.
and now
You know, because we are petty about that.
I mean, there could be hundreds of reasons the Illuminati wants to go against the Catholic Church.
So we're gathered in London
so-
to discuss the issue of devils in the Catholic Church.
I think it's more along the lines of just the Catholic Church. I can't imagine that I'd actually care, or at least my organization would actually care that they were being run by devils.
You've just always hated them, and this is an extra reason to.
It's just like, this is a reason that we'll get others on our side, so we'll play it up. We couldn't really care less if they stayed out of our hair and let us do our thing. We'd probably be fine, but they're screwing around with our plans, and they must be stopped, kind of thing.
That sounds good to me.
But like I can't imagine. It's more along the Illumina is more, I think, along the lines of we need to control who knows what and how much. rather than, oh, it's a devil, let's kill it. Nah.
The devil's in the details. Just figure it out.
Like, I mean, I would not be surprised if there were a few devils or vampires among the Illuminati as well.
Uh-huh.
It's more of a control rather than it has no actual like hatred for any species or creature as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. Do you like these ideas, Z Warrior?
Yeah, it's doable.
Doable with your libertarian death cult membership.
With your monthly dues, you get a free tote bag.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got 2 party crashers, and so we've got Jared, Hattie, and me who were there for get together for sit down, and then Wiggle and Z Warrior show up. Is that how we're kind of going to start this?
I might be taking in this. I did some looking around, and so far I might have a degree from Edinburgh or St. George's University of London. So I'm probably there on their behalf.
But that's not a massive supernatural organization, which was what we're getting at.
Yeah. Like the.
No, I mean like that's where I got my doctorate from.
Yeah, but we're talking about.
That's why you would be in London. I get that. Yeah, okay, but but the idea is effectively the 3 of us are getting together for a powwow, and you 2 somehow step in on this powwow?
Yeah, this is like what I kind of want to get ironed out to avoid issues of
because,
why should we?
That just seems extremely.
Because,
that just seems like an extremely unlikely thing to happen. Is you guys
and
just
even
walk
if it
into a
happens, because we have like 3 like major players in the world, and suddenly 2 people just went into like this super secret meetings that was probably organized years in advance. They will be killed on the spot.
Yeah, that's what Luke was explaining.
Yeah, like there needs to be a reason that you will integrate and act as a group and not fight each other on site.
You must be expected to this particular party, or you show up and die.
Well, there is also going to be something weird happening where they'll probably step up and we're like, "Oh, hey, you saved us. Maybe let's not murder you."
It's an option, but it relies on a lot of chance, I think.
Yeah, I think we should come up with a reason why you would be expected at this meeting as well.
Okay, I have a suggestion for Z's character.
Go ahead.
Because he's perhaps he was invited by Ignatius because maybe he's associated with the group that Ignatius is part of.
What about if we go as the same way with Wiggle's sword? Like, if he is as well pretty much as old as my character, maybe we were, acquainted at some point.
Well, Z Warrior is a mage, right? A wizard?
Mm-hmm.
Have any of you guys read Dresden Files?
I'm aware of it. I haven't actually read. I'm aware of it. I haven't actually read it.
Well, Dresden Files has a group. It's called the White Council. Effectively, if you're a mage, you basically belong to it. They govern mages, and it is a secretive organization, so it kind of would fit. Like they would get together people to go after power. They would be able to send somebody like a representative or whatever to a meeting like this. So
maybe
just an idea.
Like
Hattie was in.
Yeah,
maybe Hattie's character was the one who was actually invited. Then he, on his way to the actual meeting, he ran into me. We grabbed a pint together, and then we went to the meeting.
The vampire and the dragon goes to the pub.
Here's the thing. It's another one of those, you kind of have to have an invitation. There's no like plus ones. I would
Maybe
think.
we had some affairs before. Like, we need to find some sort of historical event that actually could have, been organized by 2 of us or something like that.
Yeah, like just because it could easily be that you've known each other from the past and sent an invitation because this is a big deal that they want new people for as well. And you're like, oh,
So,
I know.
welcome to
pal.
Dragon Society, I guess.
Would you prefer the T-shirt or the tote bag?
You get a cookie.
You're not good. You are not good enough. T-shirt or a tote bag, sir.
But I mean, you told that you are not technically a human, so that probably will be okay with me because I actually thinking about putting like that. I actually kind of hate humans on the character sheet
Oh wow.
because
Okay.
there are monkeys. There are. I hope they die soon enough so we can get back to the ruling this planet or something like that.
Sounds like you want.
Okay.
Actually, that sounds like a fun quirk. Call human monkeys.
Yeah. I
Human
mean,
getting
that's a quirk. Yeah, sure. I wouldn't. I maybe wouldn't take that as a full disadvantage considering the amount of humans in this
That's why I
party.
said quirk.
Yeah.
Yeah, calling them monkeys, but hating humans is probably some kind of super expensive, like the dislike. What it's called? Hate or dislike? I don't remember. There is
Loathing
a
or something.
disadvantage like that.
Yeah. There's a disadvantage. A dislike is the quirk.
Yeah, dislike is a quirk version of that.
Uh,
Let me double check actually.
um,
But other than that, how are people feeling for this general theme at large we're going for? Sounding good?
I mean, I'm liking it.
Yeah.
Except where, like, what's the tone we're going in for? Like this, like more like comic book styles or something more serious?
Hmm.
I mean, I like it to be decently. Yeah, I don't want there to be any pow or wham things going on, but
Yeah.
Avoid the campiness.
No shock repellent.
Like, let's not go completely retarded, but I guess we should
yeah,
maybe try to keep it at least a little bit lighthearted.
Yeah.
I have no doubt there will be lighthearted moments.
Cinematic-ish / realistic-ish.
Not comic book, but what kind of game is this going to be? I'm kind of. Is this going to end up being horror or
With this kind of
adventure
characters, what
fantasy?
kind of thing can be a horror?
Oh, this could turn into a horror real quick.
Unless, we're literally fighting Cthulhu, who I don't think that that may be problematic considering the power level,
You're pretty potent
Nah, we
individuals.
got this. We got this. We got this. Cthulhu going down, bro.
But
Cthulhu is a bitch.
All right, so I mean, I'm liking the setting and I'm liking the way this is turning to work out.
Yeah, I'm liking this thing. I'm liking this thing too. So far, I've only been in 5e groups, so I'm
Okay.
kind of, I'm kind of in the mood for something not more modern.
simulation.
More
And plus, I've been
realistic.
wanting to try out GURPS for a while, so I figured I might as well try it here.
I found it.
Yeah.
Basic set, page 100, called Intolerance. You
Mm.
dislike and distrust some or all people who are different from you. And there is different levels of that.
Oof.
You could at first think I'm not quite as annoying as a human, but then you realize, oh wait, you're not a human. You just look like a human, and you
I will probably
maybe forget
hate
that every now and then.
second about being in the human form if we go with this whole having a cave full
That
of gold.
was turn it when you yourself turn into a human. That might be a little weird.
The
That's probably,
self-loathing.
will be disgusting.
Or maybe I found your gold stash and we tried to kill each other, and we ended up getting along after that.
It's that fight where you're just kissing at the end.
Now I've got here's an idea that I've actually used this one before, but it turned out really well. Now, and the original reason for our meeting doesn't have to be the reason we stay together forever, but one of the things that I've done before in a semi-horror kind of realistic gritty game was I released the 7 deadly sins upon the world.
Wow.
Rude.
I know I was kind of mean.
I'm sure there will be plot that will occur once we're all together to keep us together.
Yeah, I've got
Oh, okay.
the plots. I've got the
Oh,
adversaries.
you've got the plot and adversaries done.
I was just mostly after the kind of dynamic that we all wanted as players, and so that we all start on the same page when we get going as well.
I think
I mean, as long as we don't go full Grim Dunk, Grim Dark, sorry, I'm okay with that.
Oh no, yeah,
Grim Dunk would be fine.
What's a green dunk?
That's an entire subreddit
Dark,
dedicated to
edgy,
the
bloody.
Warhammer memes.
We have to be careful not to walk on the edge
no,
or cut ourselves.
I'm
Well, you know,
absolutely.
if we're gonna go Grim Dunk, we might as well go like full Warhammer, like to the point where it's not like gritty, it's just stupid.
Oh, you're saying grimdark.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just always say Grim Dunk when I want to say Grim Dark
Grim
because
Dag.
that's my favorite subreddit.
To be fair, I don't know what either one is. So I mean, I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
One is Warhammer, the other is the Warhammer memes, essentially.
Okay, I know what Warhammer is. I just still don't know what green dark or green dunk is. Oh, I'm thinking I'm about to green tank. Okay, it's weird.
This place.
Oh,
Well,
those are two very different images, sir.
Grimdark is like as opposed like grim because there's little hope, dark because bad things happen,
mhm.
as opposed to what is it? Bright, happy? I don't know. Like everything's sunshine
Okay.
and rainbows.
Not like We Happy Few, where everything's unicorns and rainbows, but if you stop taking your medicine, it's the apocalypse.
It's like essentially a setting where everything is bad, everything is like
Bloodborne,
grim,
basically.
nothing good happens. Yeah,
No,
essentially.
yeah.
Okay,
I
so
just like the Warhammer because they like take it to 11 because at this point you cannot take it seriously.
Alright, so
Mhm.
I just want to make sure I've got this right. So Jared's going to be coming as a member of the group that says, "Hey, we don't want no chaos." Z Warriors coming from the Wizards Guild or
No,
equivalent.
he's coming as an invited friend.
Top-notch
+1.
recruit for this new group.
Z Warriors coming. I thought Wiggle was the +1.
No, the Wiggle is
They're
plus
both
one for
plus
me,
one.
possibly.
Okay,
If
Z
you're
Warrior
okay
is
with
the
that.
+1 for Jared.
Possibly.
Yes.
Me? Which one?
Possibly a +1 from Jared.
Okay. And then I'm just all alone.
Note the circles I drew in Roll20.
We've got a bit of a map going on.
What the circles
Oh,
means?
that's where they're from.
They're together.
In between.
They're together.
That's where they're coming from.
Swiss people are like dangerously close to Vatican.
Yeah.
Center of all.
I'm a whole eyeball away.
Oh
whole
my god.
eyeball.
Yeah,
Dude.
the scale is not quite accurate.
I don't know. 4 eyeballs is Egypt. So seems like a quick trip. I don't even know how to do with that. I don't even know how to. Oh.
Yeah. I think we'll probably use Google Maps for actual distances when we need it.
Yeah, this is not going to be accurate for anything, but... Oh, hey, you're at the same latitude. That's why I made that other one that's centered on London. Distances to and from London.
To be fair, this map is weird to judge distances on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just
It
a
was cool
visual
map.
representation more than a tool for anything useful. But I think we can about wind down session 0.
I think there's a bit more to discuss.
Oh.
Power
Oh.
level.
Pardon?
Power level, because it
Power
seems
level.
one of us is 1,000 points and can reshape matter within 200 meters.
Yeah, 200 meters.
And the other can just transform into the dragon, which actually now in comparison sounds lame.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, man, my guy sounds.
So it's
My
the
character could just
levels.
hypnotize you to
like,
just kill yourself or something.
Now, I was.
It's the levels of
This is
control
more of
that
a.
grant those
yeah.
distances, rather than max levels of area effect.
Yeah, it's not area. It's not an area of effect. It's.
And it
It's just
depends
distance.
on if that type of matter's present at all.
Oh no, for matter itself, like
Which
the
one have you
control.
got
The
in?
only it's only really.
Let me.
I can do a lot with TK,
Yeah,
but with the matter control.
your TK range is
Oh,
presumably
is it?
the base
Okay.
one though.
Because I can touch. That's considered touch. Oh, sweet, that
No,
works.
TK's base range is 10 yards. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I multiplied it by
Okay,
20.
so stay out
Uh,
of 10-meter radius of him if you don't want to get TK'd.
I did.
200.
I did put
200
for a max.
200 is a lot.
Yeah, 16
no.
yards is about the max I'd like to see. I think.
Oh, okay.
That's
You
what I
can
put
just
in.
take reduced range on it.
Well, no, I took a lot of increased range.
I
But as
could
for
not
like
see
that,
I couldn't see modifiers in the sheets you sent across to me.
oh, it was you just have to it was the telekinesis, psychokinesis, and increased range 20. It was on the 2B.
Right. Let me get to it again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically what turned TK into like such point sync. But it's not. There's also a lot of penalties that come with that. It's not like instantly I get to kill things. Because range penalties still apply.
Okay, I asked earlier,
yeah,
but you didn't
yeah,
say.
no. Like range penalties still apply. Not to mention the fact that that's TK. Like the whole matter manipulating thing. Yeah, I can screw with earth, water, and air, but it's nowhere near. But it's not very impressive. I literally only did that because flavor.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, I see the telekinesis one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got some minor.
The air, earth, and water thing is very different. It's like the TK is like I can kind of control things from a distance, but it's very specific. Whereas the control air is a specific amount of volume, and I actually have to physically touch it to be able to establish the control. I have to physically touch it.
What
So,
can you do with that control?
I can move it. I can't actually, the control doesn't let me attack. I can build a wall of earth. I can move a stream of water. To be fair, I could remove air from a surrounding area, but all that would do is suffocate, and then the guy could just leave. It would create the suffocation effect, and then whoever I'm suffocating, could leave the area.
It's all in powers control.
It's literally I'm moving the element around. That's all that control does. And the only reason I have the controls is flavor.
So what else does your character do?
Due to that, all that, like I've got, I've got pair radar. Basically, I can sense. It allows me to see in 360 degrees for a certain distance. It's a decently long distance. And then there's I can hold my breath. I have compartmentalized mind, very fit, healing, which means I can heal you guys. Let's see, there's luck, and then let's see, and then regeneration, and then damage reduction. That's it. That's all I did. And then there were all like most everything went into points. I went into skills. I'm pretty much a bit of a skill monkey. I've got that one stick, and then I'm a skill monkey basically.
The increased range on telekinesis is that it's not that you can pick all them things up either. It's just that you can affect something within that range.
I can affect something. I can't
If you're
like
aware of
lift
it.
up. I cannot lift up a whole city block.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I'm not God, but if I'm just focusing on one thing, I can do something. It's not like I can't. I cannot affect multiple things. I can do a grand total because of the compartmentalized. I can do a grand total of 3 things in a round with my TK, and they'd have to be within my range,
And
and
detectable
then
by you.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you guys are imagining a lot scarier than it really is.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not strong, but I think you guys are imagining it to be, I am all powerful.
Yeah,
You're
no.
not quite the Avatar.
Oh
Yet.
no, dude, like literally the only if I
Again,
like
it's
the control was only there, and the only reason I've got control Earth 5, which means I can move a certain amount of volume of Earth. Same thing with air and same thing with water. Now
Yeah.
they're not all 5. I've got control air 3, control Earth 5, and control water 1. Basically, I can move a certain amount of volume per action. And basically, the control Earth, my idea for that, the only things I'd really do would I'd be building bridges for you guys, or I'd be creating a hole in the wall so we can get through. Because literally,
God, I actually had a character who does exactly that in one of the Dungeon Fantasies games I played.
yeah, it's very much one of those. It's like I can hit things, but it's more utility. My guy is more utility.
You
Mhm.
threw a rock at him. It was
I
a
can
big
throw-
rock.
I can throw a rock and stuff like that. Well, I mean, no, I can't even do that with Control Earth. Control Earth doesn't allow me to make any attacks whatsoever. I can build a wall in front of it. I can make the Earth form a wall. I can't attack.
You could make an
That-
earth ball and then throw it with your TK.
I could do that.
If you go
Okay.
by this discussion, what
So-
other like mechanically speaking characters we have? Because we only know like thematics for now, except for you, Casper.
Yeah.
What was that?
Like what? Let's talk about our characters mechanically now, like less
Mechanically,
thematically or
yeah.
more mechanically, so we can get like what kind of role we will actually be getting in the team.
So far, the major. I'm still building my template, but so far my character's gonna be more of the Wolverine / Vandal Savage, it's like which so means he's gonna have enhanced senses, insanely tough. He can drain things. He can hit. Traditional event like he has some mind control. Well, innately, whether or not he actually chooses to use it is another thing altogether. Because it's just something that all vampires know how to do. Whether or not you're good at it is something else entirely.
Mind control is one of the things I want to be careful with.
Well, he's not gonna. He probably wouldn't. Probably the way I saw it was, biologically speaking, they would probably use it to kind of hypnotize prey to trust them.
Basically,
before they
gives
can eventually
you a
go in for the
massive
kill.
bonus to reaction modifiers. Then
Or maybe suggest them to do something that would be beneficial to the controller. And if they don't have the willpower to
Like a
resist it, they're gonna
hypnosis
do
thing?
it.
Like a hypnosis kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, like the idea I had was mainly is my vampire can't shapeshift or fly or that sort of thing, but we're trying to mist. But what they can do is use hypnosis or mind control to make you think they did it, and that's where the legend of them turning into bats came from. Maybe a vampire got cornered one day, used hypnosis saw a bat, decided to use hypnosis to make them think he turned into a bat and ran away, and then the legend just spread from there.
Okay. It's more like illusion-y stuff, potentially.
Yeah, so like that, plus the enhanced senses and hard to kill.
So essentially a tank, right?
Yeah, a tank with some gadgeteer thrown in because he probably studied under those areas at some point while he was bumming around in history. Like he might have been there for the Islamic Golden Age when they were doing all the clockwork and the waterwork stuff. So you probably picked up a thing or two there, and eventually he might be able to be something akin to Castlevania Dracula, where he invented or more specifically the Netflix Castlevania Dracula, where he has a lot of the knowledge he's collected over the years, and he's put it all together.
And people talking about the magic. Oh, he has a torches that ignite itself in his castle because it's a light bulbs.
Yeah, kind of like that.
I like that.
And then the other that's just something he personally did. But the vampires is a racial trait have the enhanced senses, being able to leech blood, leech from other people, the basic mind control, and then go from there.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I probably should mention, just so you guys know, like I said before, I'm building basically a spy. His best kind of thing is his prayer radar, which allows me to see in all directions for
His
2,000
what?
meters.
Para
It's a
radar.
para
The
radar.
only way that would work for me is if you, whenever you use the ability, you do boop, boop,
It's
boop, 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 or
it's
like a
got it's got it's a little bit it's not radar para radar, a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see through things to a point, which is why
Yeah.
I would know for a fact that you are vampires, because I could see your claws and your different physiology.
Yeah, I think my character also has like infrasonic hearing, and ultrasonic hearing, so he can. And he's
but,
got some basic echolocation, just because probably back in the day that's how they used to hunt at night, so they needed ways to navigate in the dark.
Right.
So they got
Well,
like infrared sight, thermal sense,
yeah,
infrasonic and ultrasonic hearing.
yeah. Like pararadar is something that would allow me to fight in the dark and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, one of the things, the fact that I got penetrating with it, and so it allows me to see through things. That mixed with my telekinesis, mixed with certain skills, and I figure I should say this now so that this doesn't come up later. And I don't want you guys thinking I was holding something back because I was afraid it was going to get crushed. Although maybe I am a bit afraid you might say no. But basically, with where does this go? It's not powerful. It is. Survival, stealth, wrestling. Why? It is pressure secrets. Okay. Pressure secrets allows me to attack basically internal organs. So effectively with my TK and being able to see through things, I can literally like make someone's heart implode.
Omae wa mo shinjayonai.
I mean, there is a spell like that in Magic, and it's actually not that hard, so that should be perfectly fine.
Okay. I just didn't. I wanted to kind of give full disclosure here, and that's not even my guy's main thing. It's just something
He knows how
can
to do it.
His main thing is he's more of a thief. He's literally a spy. He's thief. He has lip reading, so he can use his pararadar to basically listen to a conversation that's happening a full street over with a building in between him.
How skilled is he at that? Oops, crushed your heart thing.
It depends on the distance. It's not. It's due to actually the limitation of how high it can get. It's as high as I could get it without going past the limitation that Luke put on.
Yes.
So it's not amazingly awesome for the reason that like I can't do it from 200 yards away. 200 meters.
Right, but what do you
There's
have
no way.
penalties to hit the location and then the distance and all that?
Yeah, like penalties still happen.
Yeah, it's
Okay, so it's just a regular attack, but
It is. It is not. So I mean, it's not horrifically out there.
it's not like a
But it can be
cosmic
done.
malediction or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not like I snap my fingers and you annoy me, I'm dead.
I don't think anyone's got anything cosmic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I tried to base my character on a lot of stuff. I wasn't sure how realistic you were going to go for, so I built my character around things that animals like. I think for the superhuman senses, I didn't take any super senses. I took just the enhanced senses that that a person could plausibly explain. And even then, I made sure it was something that would make sense for vampire to have, like thermal sense, infrared sight would probably be something that they eventually evolved because they would be hunting in the dark a lot.
Okay, and you were saying, Casper?
Yeah, essentially, like, I'm looking at the distance sheet and the hit tables. So could I do it at 200 yards? Yes, but it'd be horrifically hard roll. It'd be stupid for me to try. But mostly what I'm doing is like most of my skills are disguise, diplomacy, filch, lip reading, lockpicking, that kind of thing. It's spycrafts rather than I'm not built as a fighter. I can hit decently hard, but that's it. I didn't want like I just wanted to make sure that everyone kind of knows what's going on so that so that it doesn't come as a shock later.
I think
And I certainly don't plan to use this on any player.
a big thing, Jared, is that maybe you should spend like 300 more points in things like DR and attacks on your alternate form.
Looking over the others, you
Yeah, I was
feel that that's
I feel like you're a bit weak at the minute, maybe. I don't know, Z-Warrior, how many points have you kind of spent at the minute, if you know at all?
I think 1300.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, there's your answer.
Oh, yo. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, so far the current template I have without any of the disadvantages is that just for the racial template is around 324 points, but I'm still finagling it around and adding and tweaking things.
Nice, 300-point racial template. Sounds
Jesus
good.
Let me
Christ.
check the cost of my template. Western Dragon 531.
That sounds more like it right there. Jesus Christ.
But before that, I'm quite a bit stronger than the one suggested by the book. But honestly, the one suggested in the book are weird because the strongest dragon is about as strong as an elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that was
yeah.
a shenanigans because it was released during the the release of 4th edition, so it actually for the both books at the same time.
It's what's the rule? You want 5 times your height in yards for your strength, at least.
Yeah, right. My strength right now is 15 is at 15. But but I took it from the weird with the increased molecular density. So that's one of the things you can tell a vampire from a human is that they're a lot pound for pound they're stronger, but their physiology is a lot more dense as well. Like
they
I'm 3
sink.
times as dense as a person my size should be.
Yeah. That's how I'd be able to tell, yeah. And the claws.
Actually,
I'm
now
a thick
thinking about
boy.
it, I should probably bump health quite more, so we actually will get benefits from extra healing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
If
for
you
now,
if you feel like it, doing DR with like the ablative bit or even semi-ablative cheapens it a lot.
yeah. To be fair, I still have I can spend about double the points I currently have on my character if I want to still be within the limit set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had a DR
I have 10 DR.
Yeah, I
Oh,
haven't had a chance to add DR to mine yet, but that's probably gonna take up a lot of my points. Where he's gonna be unless you use silver or ultraviolet light, he need to silver or ultraviolet light will just go through it no problem. But anything else is gonna have really high DR just from from having thick skin. Or
time
Yeah.
to grab my black light.
like this would be one of those nice times that see going up against a vampire just implode a heart because it bypasses skin. But I'll never use a black
Warrior
light
and
on you.
Jared, what are your characters will be mechanically speaking?
So my character, when he's in his normal human form, is a smart human, and when he's not in it, but he also has a bit of magic about him. He basically rediscovered the Akkadian deities, and now they kind of like him because he's the only person who really does stuff for them. Mechanically, he uses what are they called? Imbuements. So just takes a regular old attack and suddenly it becomes a bit better. Like, oh hey, I'll just ignore this. I'll just penetrate DR. Or oh, I'll get double knockback on this one. Or I'll do this melee attack as a ranged attack. And then when he turns into a rock monster, he becomes homogeneous. Now DR20 instead of DR10. Regenerates but doesn't regenerate FP. And he has a spear that he can only wield when he's in that form because it's really heavy. That does about 40, equivalent to 46 damage. It's 2d6 plus 7, but the plus 7 is 2d6 basically.
Yeah.
And he has limited ritual path magic. His limitations are because it's his deities granting it. They have to see that it, at least in some roundabout way, achieves their goals too. And he only has path of body, crossroads, magic, and spirit.
My character is kind of similar to ya in that regard, because when human form he's a smart academic guy. I will probably use extra points to basically turn him into Doctor Strange with magic. And the dragon form, well, it's a dragon, breathe fire, strong, hard to kill, you know.
Oh, maybe add like 1 second of preparation, like takes a concentrate maneuver before you can do it for the breath.
I think, let me double check. I think they cost fatigue for me, actually.
I'm just
Yeah,
thinking
they're fatigue based for me.
so that you can see that it's actually trying to do something before it suddenly breathes fire everywhere. Like,
Well, if DM wants me to do that, I can do that, yes. Because right now I can do it instantly, but I need to spend 2 fatigue points to do that.
Like I think that the way Hattie is, like, just my little 2 cents is that Hattie seems. I mean, I get kind of where you're coming from, but doing it instantly is part of the innate attack.
I just like literally took and modified templates from the book at this point.
Yeah. I don't particularly require you to have it. It's just maybe so people don't run in front of your fire breath. Were you thinking, Jared?
yeah, and also because like it's weird. Like he, if it takes no time at all, then suddenly it's just breathe out fire, no warning. Whereas dragons in most
Ocular media,
depictions
yeah.
do have that
Charge time.
telltale sign.
I
Just
can
that they
do
take
that.
a
It
breath.
will cheapen the tax a little bit anyway.
Like just requires 1 concentrate maneuver or whatever.
There is probably takes extra time or something like that in the basic set or something like
Well,
that.
actually, for dragons, there was a air quotes documentary a while back that talked about what dragons would have been like if they were real. And one thing they suggested for the fire breath was that also who controlled how they flew was they had something about the digestive system filled an air bladder with hydrogen. So in order to breathe fire, he would gnaw on platinum or something from natural deposits, and then when they wanted to breathe fire, they would vent the hydrogen sac. Like the platinum in their mouth and their teeth would ignite it, and it would cause fire. But by doing so, it would affect their ability to fly.
Reduce altitude by breathing fire.
That's, at this point
really
sounds like the dragons from Discworld. The ones that explode if you look at them funny.
Oh, yeah. The ones that shit all down your back.
Oh, also my character can create portals, but it takes a while.
Ooh.
Because he has to have 2 mirrors together, and then he blesses them both, and then he sends the one mirror to where he wants the one to go, and once it's there, he can create the portal. So you have to actually go there once.
Will a vampire be able to go through that portal?
Well, they are silver mirrors, but like, wait, no.
He'll
Would they
be
be silver
scratching on
mirrors?
the other side.
Yeah.
He'll be breaking out in hives.
Yeah, if I have extended contact with silver or UV, then yeah, I break out with silver and hives. But if a silver but from conventional weapons, they don't really hurt me unless you get really lucky or you hit me very, very hard. But if it's a silver weapon or someone figures out how to make a UV laser, then it would punch through me no
I'm
problem.
not sure there's many UV lasers about. But the
What are you
sun's
talking about?
pretty good.
Well, you say that, but if the Vatican is our enemy, they probably have specialized vampire hunting tools.
Oh, yes.
You don't even need like a laser. It's a certain light.
But they are still mortal. Like they still breathe. They still eat.
Yeah, but they also kind of specialize in this sort of stuff if we go full Van Helsing with that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. Anyone else got anything they'd like to discuss for this session?
Not that I can think of. I've still got some things to iron out for my template.
Yeah, I think there's lots of discussion that we can have before the next game. How is next Sunday for everyone?
If
so far, so
actually
good.
if this the same kind of time, it actually would be perfect.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I can do this time again next Sunday.
Yeah.
Go for
Yeah,
maybe
that works for me.
an hour longer than today.
All right.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Yes.
Sounds good. Well, yes.
Oh, one other note.
Go ahead.
Because we were talking about wealth earlier.
Mhm.
There are the rules about 80-20%. So if you don't take 80% of your wealth, then you have like an appropriate house and other things. What I decided to do for my character, and Luke didn't seem to disagree too much with it, was that I have higher levels of wealth, but then I went, hey, he's living at this status, so his cost of living only increased by this much. So I just multiplied 80% of starting wealth by the difference in cost of living.
So is paying for the status.
Yeah.
with-
I spend my cost of living is 5 times what it would normally be. So I spend 20,000 to have a house and various other things, and I still get then $80,000.
Jesus.
Yeah. Speaking of the wealth, JM, are you okay with this whole having a horde thing?
I am fine with that.
Because that may break economy at some point.
Yeah. I don't think
Did
economic anxiety is going to be a major thing in this game.
Well, plus if you're a dragon, you're probably gonna. I think you might
It's not
be
like
good
I'm
at
gonna buy
roleplay.
stuff for
yeah,
ya.
no, it's,
I'm hoarding it.
you,
I want a bed of gold.
you just want all.
Or you
that
could just
gold.
be you could just be frugal. You could just be very. You're like Mr. Krabs. You're filthy rich, but you just hate spending any of it.
Yeah,
See, the thing
essentially
with
I will go with
dragons
that.
is that gold is an aphrodisiac.
There
my character
are
will
a
probably
lot
be
of
just
explanations for this sort of stuff in the Dragon's book. There are even rules that allow you to use your horde as a mana reserves for your magic.
I
Oh,
quite like
Jesus.
that. That
Like
sounds
essentially
good.
dragons like spend their horde to cast magic.
Or alternatively, what you can do is I think there was that show, I forget what it was called, where you can do a combination of Mistborn or Silver Claimers or something, where you can actually control the precious metal itself, or to act as a kind of ability, like either take the gold, liquefy it, and turn it into structures, kind of like Green Lantern rings.
Yeah, but I'm not going with that. I'm just gonna go dragons are, naturally hoarders.
Give me that gold.
That's simpler and kind of funny.
Yeah, I think in terms of wealth, my character isn't going to be ungodly wealthy, but like be comfortable in upper echelons of society. Like he goes to art museums. He's got a good income from being a physician, from having a practice. Maybe over his long lifespan, he made some good bets and he put it in the bank.
Banks
Nothing
weren't
like
a thing
ungodly
until a couple
wealthy.
hundred years ago, or before the game. They became big in the 1700s.
Oh yeah. Like eventually he probably. I'm not saying where he got a gold coin from Roman era, and now that single gold coin is the cornerstone of his fortune.
But yeah.
But like maybe eventually, or he just has a good practice, so he's not filthy rich, but he's not middle class. Like he's like upper class. So he goes to galas. He does fundraising every now and then. And that sort of thing. But he worked for his money.
Yep.
The conventional way, or through or he eventually started betting on things. It's still up in the air, but at the very least he's gonna be upper class, so he's gonna have that kind of reputation and status where people are gonna know him by sight, or that if they know who the up and up people are.
Okay.
Like he could be like the billionaire philanthropist who's very rarely comes out in the daytime, or if he does come out in the daytime, you don't really see him for very long. But he does throw rocking parties.
Yeah. Z Warrior, did you have anything you wanted to add or ask?
No, at the moment, no.
Rightio. I think we will obviously have a lot more discussion before the first session next week.
Yeah, but mostly in text form, I assume.
Yeah, text form mostly.
Yeah.
So, thanks very much for watching. I will be GMing this game when it starts next week. I'm Luke. With us today we had Jared.
Hey, I'm Jared. We'll be playing Ignatius next week.
Oh
You've
yeah.
already heard a bit about him.
Oh yeah, a lot I think. We've heard a lot about everyone. It's good. I'm excited. We had Z Warrior.
Hey, I'm Z Warrior. I'll be playing the detective that already has a pile of work to do. It seems.
Oh yeah. Hattie Cattington.
Who is playing the wizard dragon, who is somehow the most boring character in the party right now.
I don't know about that, but we've also got the Master of Wiggles.
I will be the vampire, blah, blah, blah.
Getting started with that. And finally, we had Casper.
Yeah, I'm Casper. I will be playing Casper, the matter
The friendly
manipulator
ghost.
spy. Oh, I wouldn't necessarily say that. But Ghost will probably be involved. That'll be fun.
Well, aye. So, join us next week for the first session of this. Thanks very much for watching, and bye-bye.
Hi.
Tune in next week to see what kind of
Свидания.
shenanigans we get into.
Adios.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z.